Welcome to Sam's Trucks. Today I'm going to show you guys how to start the diagnosis process on figuring out why your engine is backfiring. So the first thing we need to get figured out is, where is it backfiring from? Is it backfiring out the exhaust pipe, or is it backfiring out the intake? So if it's backfiring out the intake, that means that you're getting too much air and not enough fuel. We call this a lean pop. You're getting too much air in your cylinders here and not enough fuel. So that usually comes down to a fuel issue. There's not enough fuel getting to your cylinder. So on a carbureted engine, it usually means that the fuel filter that feeds the carburetor is plugged. There's a leak in the fuel line, or the fuel pump isn't working good enough to supply the amount of fuel that you need to get to your cylinder to cause it to run right. Make sure you actually have gas in your tank, because if it's a dual carburetor setup like this, one carburetor might still be getting enough fuel and the other one won't. With fuel injection, it usually comes down to fuel pressure. Are you getting enough fuel pressure to your throttle body, to your injectors, so that it can actually fire and supply the right amount of fuel? If you don't have a scanner, you can go to a shop, they'll lend you one or borrow one or do it for you, and you want to check your fuel pressure. So if you're not getting enough fuel pressure to your cylinders there, it's not going to fire right, because it's not getting enough fuel, getting too much air, which causes it to pop out of the intake. So now if it's popping out of the exhaust, which is more common, it can be a few different things. So the first thing you want to check is the engine, is that cylinder getting spark? How you check to see if a motor is getting spark on pretty much any engine, a V8, whatever, you actually pull the plug wire off. So you can do this on each cylinder, and then you can see which one is causing the problem. And you should be able to figure out which side of the engine is giving you your problem by just listening. So if you figure out, I think it's popping out of that exhaust pipe, so I know it's this cylinder. You pull your spark plug wire off, you put a different spark plug in, like this, and you take it and you ground it onto your frame somewhere where there's going to be a ground. And then you crank it and turn it over, and if you see spark there, that's good. If you don't see spark there, then you know that it's not getting spark. So it could be your ignition coil, it could be a distributor, it could be a few different things, but that's kind of what you want to look at there. The other thing that it could be is improper tuning on your carburetor. It's running way too rich. There's too much fuel getting to the carburetor and not enough air. So usually this is a problem when a carburetor's been sitting for a really, really long time. Stuff starts gumming up in there and it's letting too much fuel out or whatever. That is usually the problem I found with carbureted engines. When they start backfiring, it's the carburetor's not tuned. So find a video on how to tune the specific carburetor that you have and go like that. You may have to replace some parts or just take it apart and clean it. Often taking apart a carburetor and just going through it and cleaning it and putting it back together the way it came apart will fix your problem. So just to recap things, backfiring out the intake means that you're not getting enough fuel. You're getting too much air. Backfiring out the exhaust means you're getting too much fuel and not enough air. So the first things you want to check are, am I getting spark? Am I getting air? Because maybe your air filter is just plugged up from sitting for so long. And am I getting fuel? Those are the three things your engine needs to run. So you want to check, is each cylinder getting fuel? Is each cylinder getting spark? And is each cylinder getting air? And if it is, it should run. So there's a little bit more to it than that when you get deeper into it, but that will help you guys get rolling and figure out what your problem is. Subscribe, check out the other videos, and I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic day. Jesus loves you. We will talk to you in another video.